There's something irresistibly beautiful about a man who tries to walk away from violence only to find it has booked a front row seat next to him on vacation. Enter Hutch Mansell. Not a spy, not a superhero, not even a disgruntled ex-cop. Just a man, a husband, a father, and yes, someone with a most unfortunate talent for destruction. When we last left him, Hutch had scorched a Russian mob's criminal empire to the ground with a gold-plated pistol, and the kind of fury only years of restraint can build. But the thing about fire is, it leaves embers. And those embers ignite once more in Nobody 2, where Hutch isn't just a man fighting to protect his family, he's a man paying off a $30 million 0-cents debt, one bullet at a time. The years since his rampage have not brought peace, only transactions. Kill, collect, repeat. It's a lifestyle wrapped in numbness where freedom is just a distant shoreline he never quite swims to. But in this sequel, he's trying. He really is. So what does Hutch do? He plans a family trip. Not to Europe, not to the mountains, but to Wild Bill's majestic Midway and Water Park, a name that practically drips with outdated neon and fried dough. It's nostalgic, sentimental. He wants to reconnect, be the man his wife once knew, be the father his children remember. But like all good intentions in a Hutch Mansell story, this, too, goes to hell. What begins as a humble vacation quickly becomes a theater of the absurd. Imagine water slides, cotton candy, and a crime boss with a vendetta. Because fate, ever amused, decides to drop Hutch's bloodstained resume into the hands of a power-hungry theme park operator. The man, already knee-deep in corruption, sees Hutch not as a father, but as a threat. And so, the carousel of chaos spins once again with Bob Odenkirk slips back into the role like a glove soaked in gasoline, ready to ignite at any moment. There's a maturity here, though, a wariness behind the punches. He's not just surviving anymore, he's wrestling with the fact that this life of violence might be the only one he's good at. And Odenkirk wears that contradiction beautifully. Next to him, Connie Nielsen returns with that steely elegance as Becca, a woman who loves her husband but can no longer pretend he's just an insurance adjuster with anger management issues. The family dynamic is raw and complicated, and it's not background noise, it's the fuel that drives the plot. But where Nobody 2 truly adds spice is in its new blood. Sharon Stone enters the scene as Lindina, a crime boss with a taste for showmanship and cruelty. She's more than a villain. She's a mirror to Hutch, equally haunted, equally skilled, but unbound by conscience. It's a duel not just of fists, but of philosophies. One believes in redemption, the other laughs at the very notion. And then there's Colin Hanks as Abel, a sheriff so slick you'd think his badge came with a disclaimer. Every line out of his mouth seems laced with something poisonous. You don't trust him. You shouldn't. He's a man who smiles before the guillotine drops. Behind the camera, Timothy Jahanto orchestrates the madness with surgical precision. His direction is fluid and feral, balancing long takes that breathe with abrupt violence that shocks. This isn't action for the sake of action. This is ballet with brass knuckles. It's operatic, and at times, strangely beautiful. Let's not ignore Christopher Lloyd's return as Hutch's father, a man who still packs heat and one-liners with equal ease, and RZA returns, slick as ever, as the adopted brother whose loyalty could get them all killed, or save them at the last second. The family unit is not just back, it's upgraded. They don't feel like side characters, they feel like the heart Hutch forgot he had. And that's what makes Nobody 2 more than just another bullet ballet. It's not about revenge this time. It's about the cost of freedom, about whether someone like Hutch can ever truly hang up his fists, whether violence is a suit you can take off or one that's been stitched into your skin. It's about legacy, about the ghosts that follow us into the most innocent places, like water parks and souvenir shops. And it asks the uncomfortable question, what happens when a man who was good at being bad no longer wants to be either? So buckle in, Green Ground faithful, because Nobody 2 isn't just a sequel. It's a symphony of redemption, soaked in blood, dressed in sarcasm, and choreographed like a slow dance with a loaded gun. And, as always, I want to know what you think. Are we ready for more Hutch? Does violence ever end for those who are good at it? Or is the past just a pit with no ladder? tell me in the comments. And if this monologue tickled your cinematic senses, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For more elegant chaos, check the description. Alvin out.